Hi, my name is Bob, and I am an endurance coach based in Portland, Oregon, and I'm here today to give you a short overview of Zwift. When you first launch the game, you wind up on this home screen. It has all sorts of information about the fun things you can do in Zwift. It has events, pre-planned workouts, pace groups, and just free rides. Along the top here, you have a calendar of upcoming events. You can choose which world and routes you'd like to explore, or you can choose pre-planned workouts or custom workouts. Coming over to the right side of the top of the screen, you can show your paired devices. You can show the badges that you've gathered in your achievements. You can also go to the garage and the drop shop. The garage shows the stuff that you currently own, your bikes, your wheels, helmets, glasses, kit, etc. It also has a way for you to edit your avatar. You can change your hairstyle, get crazy with it. There we go. Your head type, facial hair. If you tell the settings that you're female, you'll get a female avatar and be able to edit things on that end of the spectrum. It also is the home for your bikes that are in your quiver. So some bikes are free, like the Zwift bikes come with the game. But as you accumulate these drop points up here, you gain money and you can purchase bikes. And some bikes you can get right away, and other bikes you need to attain certain levels in the game before you're allowed to purchase them. All of the same holds true for wheels. You collect your points and you can purchase wheels assuming that you're at a high enough level to make that happen. Here's where you do your purchasing in the drop shop. You can buy your frames. You go by brand. The brands have partnered with Zwift to have pretty realistic reproductions of their bikes. I'm currently saving up for this Felti A 2.0, and I need to get to level 34. But as you can see up here in this corner, I'm currently level 26, so I have some writing to do. And I also probably will need to save a little more money. Okay. Moving over from the garage, you have your kind of home base of you. This is your profile, your settings, or if you want to run instead of ride, if you're on a treadmill, a smart treadmill, or if you have a foot pod on your shoe, you can use Zwift to do run training just like you would with your bike riding. The profile is your vitals, your birth date, your height and weight, and your FTP is also here. You can enter this manually, or you can do an FTP test in the game and it will enter the number for you. It's also a good idea to keep your weight up to date here. Mine is not up to date. I'm considerably more than this at the moment, off season, but it will help the physics of the game behave more naturally and more accurately. You can cheat this if you're, a 200-pound guy and you want to go up hills better. You can just tell it that you weigh 110 pounds and there you go. If you're racing, you can't get away with that. All right. And then back here, you come up again and then go to my settings. And there are some important things you can tweak here. The first one to really know about is trainer difficulty. I have some clients who feel that the game is not accurate in its physics and that it should be harder. This is the place for you. Come here and crank that up to max. I think the game defaults with it in the middle, and that's where I like to leave it. But if you want to give yourself an extra challenge, go for it. There are some other things that I use here a lot. Show group chat is a big one for me. I don't like when I'm in the game to have people's conversation texts popping up the entire time that I'm working out. So I choose to hide that here. If you're on a laptop and you're on battery power, you can go to battery saver mode here. This holo replay visibility has to do with there's a hologram that's generated within the game that will behave certain ways based on what you choose here. I leave it on personal best. And so when you come through sections that are repeatable and measurable in the game, if you've done that segment before, a hologram will appear that has your previous best time through that segment. And this can be a good thing if you're trying to improve, but sometimes you're riding easy and you don't want the seduction of beating your former best self. So you can turn that off here if you're into, just free riding. This last button on the top right is to exit the game, and we won't do that. We'll come back. And look at the top left here. So again, this is the home screen that Zwift lands you on when you first enter the game. And it has a lot of the fun stuff you can do. As I said earlier, events, structured workouts, and pace groups. Pace groups are really cool. They're based on wattage per kilo. And you just choose where you want to ride. And because it's not based on, your absolute power that you can put out or how little you weigh going up a hill versus how much you weigh going up a hill, then watts per kilo evens the playing field and helps the group stay together. This is a good thing to do if you just want to go easy and ride with other people, just to kind of keep your pace in your mind and in your eyes view in the game. Then you could ride with Bernie and just do an easy 1.6. If you really want to go a little harder, you can ride with Coco. And yeah, you'll get to know these names over time as you use these tools. And as you scroll to the right, as I'm doing here, they just get harder and harder and harder. And constants. Look out. Okay. And then just ride. You can just choose free rides in the game. Free rides are the opposite of erg mode. So erg mode we'll get to in a bit, but a free ride is exactly like riding outside. So you just choose the route you want to ride, or you can ride not a route. You can just choose a world and create your own route as you're going by using the turning functions in the game. It's a little bit less work if you just choose a pre-made route, and we'll get to those directly. So talking about routes, we're going to skip the calendar for now. That's where you find races and stuff, and you can look at that later on. But for today, we're just going to focus on routes. Routes exist within worlds, and Zwift always has 3 worlds available to you. Watopia is always available. It's the largest world with the most roads, and typically the most people are riding in Watopia at any given time. These other 2 routes over here, today it's New York and then McCurry Islands. These will rotate. I think it's every month, but don't quote me on that. There's one for Paris. It's the Champs-Élysées finish from the tour. There are 2 in the UK, I think Yorkshire and London, and they'll just rotate, and it's kind of a nice break. I like McCurry Islands a lot. It's a lot like Japan. It's a very beautiful visual world to ride in. You can ride in an arcade, and there's some indoor stuff. It's pretty fun. But Watopia is where most people ride most of the time, and you'll get to know these routes. So within Watopia, you have these pre-made routes, and you can sort them based on the alphabetical names, the distance of the route, the elevation, how hard they are, and the duration. So right now they're sorted by duration, and the short ones are at the top. You can reverse that by clicking here, and it puts the long ones at the top. So the short ones are less than a half an hour, and the long ones are several hours. Yeah, the Uber Pretzel basically covers just about every road in Watopia and takes you up to almost 8,000 feet of climbing and 80 miles of roads. You can switch which parameter you'd like to sort by here: name, elevation, duration, etc. And when you select one, it brings up a preview screen. If you complete the route here, you'll earn 2,560 experience points, which helps you level up more quickly. And then it shows you on the map, this is all of Watopia right here. It shows you all of the roads that are included in the route. Then it gives you an elevation profile and talks about the lead-in before the route actually starts, which gives you a little bit of a warm-up. When you're in this route, in any route at any time, you can just select a button on the bottom to make a U-turn, and you can bail out. So if a hill gets too steep for you, you can bail out and go try to ride somewhere else. So we're going to move over now to workouts. So again, we go from the top where you have your routes and your worlds. We're going to move over to workouts, and you can have the collections. The collections are all pre-built into the game, or you can create your own custom workouts. And I can show you how to do that really quickly. We'll just click create a workout. And as they say here with their tutorial, you click up here to edit the name, and then you drag these blocks over onto the timeline in the order that you would like to do them. So you usually will start with a warm-up, and maybe you'll ride in zone 2 for a little while. And then maybe you want to throw in, once you're warm, some intervals, and then you can increase the number of intervals. You can text this to other people. You can choose to do it as a free ride or in erg mode. And again, we'll come back to that in a bit. But then you would just save this workout and the workout you've created will be available. We'll come back out. We'll discard it. It would be available in your custom workout section. Alternatively, if you have a coach or friends who create workouts for you, then you can put them onto your computer. They can email the file to you, and then you can upload them into your custom workout bank. Collections, as I said earlier, are always available in Zwift. Sometimes they're testing inspired, sometimes they're athlete inspired, sometimes they're billed by time. So for example, if you have less than a half an hour to kill on a very busy day, you can come to this section, less than 30 minutes to burn, and there'll be several options. And because they're short, they're usually pretty high quality. So you'll get lots of intervals, some sprint work sometimes, barely hanging on for 20 minutes. So it's a lot of bang for the buck here. If you come to the longer ones, 90 plus minutes, you'll get more sustained intervals typically. As a coach, I used to write custom workouts for all of the athletes, and it just created logistical extra steps for everybody. So what I do now instead is I scour all of these workouts, and if you don't want to look at them by file, you can actually go to all workouts, and they have just a complete master list, and you can see there are hundreds of them as I scroll through. And you can sort them by duration, how hard they are. But as a coach, I go through and I scour all of them and I figure out which one is the most appropriate for the training effect I want to elicit. And then I will just send the client a step-by-step guide on how to get into each workout and then start it and do it. So for example, if we do this 30-minute 2x2 workout, I'll direct clients to this launch page and it gives you an explanation of what the workout's all about. It's focused on improving your ability to make repeated hard efforts with minimal recovery. And you can edit it a little bit. As you can see, I'm pulling up and down the functional threshold power. You can also type that in over here. So if your FTP changes, you can manually do it. Or if you're feeling a little under the weather, you can drop it by a certain percentage if you'd like. And you have some control over that. And that's important because as you can see here, right there, these workouts have you using erg mode. And erg mode is basically that the trainer takes over your wattage. And no matter what terrain you're riding on, the wattage will always stay the same that's programmed in this session. So with a functional threshold power of 296, for example, in this yellow segment, you're going to hold 2 minutes of 295. And for this little segment, you're going to hold 1 minute of 385, and you won't have any choice. The trainer is going to put you at this wattage. So it's good to have your FTP dialed in. And you can always turn this off. And even when you're in the game, you can turn erg mode on and off. If it's getting to be a little bit dicey, if it's getting to be at the edge of your ability, you can turn it off and rest for a second. Okay, we'll bounce out of here. And I think that may be it. Oh, there are plans. You can purchase plans. Some of them are free. Coaches will offer plans here. There are both running and cycling plans. So if that's something you're interested in, you can do that as well. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me in the comments below, and I will be happy to help you out further. And that's it for now. Happy riding. Happy training. Peace.